Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations, as always, to the elect. And we're going to get into news and prophecy, linking the things that are happening, right before our eyes, right before our face, all right, worldwide, all right, linking those things to the Holy Scriptures, all right, which everything that we see happening before us can be tied, all right, to biblical prophecy, all right, as the prophets foretold the very times that we're living in. And ultimately, we are a vessel sent, into the earth in these times to raise up, while Esau, Edom, would be at the latter end of his rulership, and where he and the heathen that are joined with him are attempting to establish a new world order, which is a full-blown rebellion against the will, all right, authority, and very being of the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and everything that was created. The system that he's setting up on earth is a synthetic reality, a synthetic blessing, a synthetic version of everything the Lord, intended to be. And he's setting himself up, as the Most High, as the authority through technology. You see, through, science and the things that he's been blessed with on the left-hand side. All right, let's get the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter. Revelation, the 13th chapter. All right, as we're reading biblical prophecy. Let's go to the 14th verse. As this is speaking on the revival of Rome, and when you deal with, the revival of Rome, the head that America came out of was the seventh head, which is the British. And in that, you started to see what is known as the world industrial revolutions, all right, in which, machinery, technology, and easier ways to, deal with, production and, data and whatever, flourished. You had the first industrial revolution, you had the second industrial revolution, you had the third industrial revolution, which computers was a big part of that. Now you have the fourth industrial revolution, where their plan is to merge man with machine, which would give them full power, because if they're able to pull this off, then ultimately they win. It goes against prophecy. However, the scriptures did foretell that very system being set up on earth. Now, this is Revelation 13 and 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. And technology itself, in which the Lord used it against him, but technology itself is being weaponized. Okay? It's being weaponized. And people are flabbergasted, by this new way of life involving technology, computers, the ability to, communicate with people, miles and miles away, to even see them right before, your face. This is left-handed spiritual power. These are the miracles that Esau, Edom will be blessed with. But that very technology, all right, even the fact you have a cell phone, all right, you're giving up civil liberties. You see? So people are deceived by these miracles in the form of these technologies and, the way that the world is going, and, using, catastrophic events and, pestilences and sicknesses to bring about, digital IDs and, the means to set up a system where everybody has to register, even more than the ID and the social security number. You now have to register yourself, your very being, is now being given over to this new way in which, most of the people who are here on Earth today, they plan on often, but the people who they start over with, which they're already doing it. When you look at what they're putting in the food, period, it's a bunch of aluminum and a bunch of heavy metals. That juice was found out to have, certain, technologies and things. So pretty much they're making you into an antenna, which ultimately we can be used for that on the right hand side through the Holy Spirit, but Esau is taking the genetic makeup of man and merging it with machines. So he's setting people up, pretty much with all of this stuff that's in them and this technology. Pretty much you're being made into an antenna to be received, on this new grid, this new way of life, in which it's all going to be centered around peace and safety, where everything is tracked, traced, all right, rationed. You're tied to your very being is on the grid. So who you are and what you your intent is determines your social credit score. But who sets the bars for what is good or bad? A complete Satanist. Okay? And through this very system, they're planning on rooting righteousness out of the earth through artificial intelligence. So he deceived them on the earth by the means of those miracles. People are being deceived into this new, ushering in this new way of life. And they're so distracted, by, the very technology that he's giving people. He uses as a snare to distract them and to, pretty much make people vain, proud. This is a very godless society, and a big technology is a big part of that. People no longer interact with the earth, organic life, organic means of meeting. Nothing's, he's setting up a synthetic, virtual reality world, man. I want to be in reality. I don't need a virtual reality. Okay. The internet of bodies, you see where they're going to merge your body onto this hub, this system, which is the new modern day Tower of Babel, which every man will have to come up under if he wants to live on God's green earth, which is no longer God's at that point, it's his. So it's a synthetic, left-handed version of immortal and eternal life through technology, which is stupid and is gonna be, destroyed. This is why there's no way we're gonna trust in you devils, man. But many are being deceived by the miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying, all right, and with this beast system, it grants him all manner of access to do evil, to just, and he has the means, the monetary means. He has the control. He has the authority. He can pass laws and legislation that work in his favor. He controls the money. He has all of the gold. It's endless, all right, to his possibilities. Nothing would be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do, which goes back to the Tower of Babel. Okay? Saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image, okay, to the beast which had a womb by a sword and did live. And that's ultimately the ancient Roman Empire. Okay, now they're saying you should bow yourself, all right, to this image, this way of life, this new technocracy, which basically is Rome all over again, but it's a technological Rome, just like it's a technological Tower of Babel. Nothing is being restrained from the people. You see, that's what they're implementing into the earth, all right, is the ancient Roman Empire all over again, because that was the height of their power seat. And from the Renaissance period, all right, after the fall of the Western Roman Empire, Then you had the Renaissance period. All right, pretty much Esau has, all right, had made it his just due to reestablish that image into the earth. Whether it be the philosophies, the gods, the idols, the holy days on the left-hand side, the coliseums, the shopping malls, fast food. I mean, you name it. It all goes back to Rome. The Senate, the FBI. All of that goes back to Rome. The god of Asclepius and left-hand means of healing. So the people are being coerced into making, all right, merging themselves, all right, into this system, and as you keep going, he's going to eventually cause all, both small, great, rich, and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma. And this is where it's going now. Let's go here to this video. This is a real good video. I'm going to play some of it. This is Glenn Beck. And basically, as you can see, the title of it is This Made Glenn Very Concerned About the Future of Artificial Intelligence. That's what they're creating, an artificial intelligence. Intelligence. All right? The supreme intellect is the Most High God, Yahweh. Okay? And he spoke an order into existence. He has, this creation was created by his mind. And the Lord intended on it to be inhabited and ran in a particular manner. This rulership and this system that we're witnessing being set up in the planet Earth is a control opposition to what the Most High, all right, intends to happen on this earth. And it's a bold opposition. And they're using scare tactics like health and all of these, boogeyman, terror, to pretty much scare people into accepting it, to where you have no right over the very body that the Lord gave you. It belongs to them. You'll be recreated in their image. You'll be a patented, okay, and they'll have a new Bill of Rights based upon technology, science, and you're going to swear in to this new world.
Again, we have to make sure AI is policing us. And then also the government has access now, as of yesterday, all lines of code of AI. And they want it to be more equitable and inclusive. So it'll have built-in bias. So how do you disagree with something like that?
You hear that? How do you disagree with something like that? This new way of governing will be governed by artificial intelligence, and it will have built-in biases. So what they deem, all right, useful information, what they deem good, what they deem bad will dictate, all right, how you're punished or rewarded or whatever. You see, this is the system that they're setting up in the earth. And they're going to use this system to fight, all right, against the word of the Lord. When it talks about he's going to come after the saints, there's going to be a point where we have to detach from this system. All right, they're making it to where if you even utter those names, something can come after you. You see, spoiling those that fear the Lord. That's all in prophecy. But there's going to come a point where the Lord's going to stop this guy. Some of us are, ultimately going to be, beheaded. That's a lot for a select number of, men who stand stiffly, and particularly some women. You had some women back in ancient Rome who had to undergo, violent deaths. But hey, the Lord, if you're of the elect, you're going to be rewarded, and you're not going to feel it. I don't, I believe the Lord has it to where when we have to go out like that, it's just he takes, you know, and basically you go back to the spirit world eventually, and you're gonna be rewarded. All right, your works do follow you, but all right, the Lord is gonna have a remnant also here on the earth who are gonna overcome the beast, his image and his mark, because this is his image. He's establishing his image. All right. When you go into the book of Genesis, all right, where God made Adam in his image. Let's get that real quick. Genesis 1 and 27. So the Alahayim, which that's that word God, it's Alahayim when you go into the Hebrew. All right. The Most High God ordained the angels to create, everything that was created in a period of 6 1,000-year periods, and then that seventh day of rest. It wasn't days literal. It was 1,000-year periods where the angels got busy under Yahweh Shai and creating, this very earth. It says Genesis 1 and 27. So the Alahayim made man in his own image, and in the image of the power, because that's all that word God means. All right, this word, it just means the powers, or power. Allah means power, or Alahayim. Rulers, judges, divine ones, gods, works or special possessions of God, God-like, divine ones, rulers. So the powers created man in his image, and in the image of the powers made he him, male and female created he them, and he created them for a particular purpose. And that purpose is being absolutely scoffed against in this world. A man could be a woman could be a man. You can have the ABORTIONS. That's ultimately a lifestyle here. It's bragged about. It's like you get an award for behavior that's anti what the Lord wants. And the Esau has set up a system to where to be fruitful and multiply is a disadvantage, which that shows you we're in hell. So the Lord created male and female in his image, dealing with, Adam, all right, and his family, but when you go into mankind, period, there's a way, there's there's man, there's woman, there's nations who are, made for their particular purposes. Well, Esau has come to disrupt all of that. What he's doing to the foods, genetically, he's doing that to humans. Now, this word image, because he's trying to recreate everything in his image. He wants to put his name on everything. Tazalam, image, likeness, resemblance. Okay, and a representative figure. So he, especially an idol. See, an idol. This can be an idol as well. All right, and the modern day idol, all right, is this artificial intelligence, this beast technological prison this man is setting up. And the charagma itself is an idol. See, in times past, idols just sat there and, they had to make it seem like they moved. But this man has actually been able to, set up an idol that actually speaks and moves, and, it's able to, he creates fake foods and all of these things. You see, so he's trying to recreate man in his image, all right, with what he's been blessed with. You see? And technology is a big part of that. Listen to what this man is saying.
not disinformation, misinformation, and shut it down and steer you away from those things. This is priming again. We have to make sure AI is policing us. And then also, the government has access now, as of yesterday, all lines of code of AI, and they want it to be more equitable and inclusive. So it'll have built-in bias. So how do you disagree with something like that?
How do you disagree with something like that? Their plan is that you don't disagree. Because, see, we're living in a time where I love bringing the scripture out, 2 Ezra 6:27. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which has so long been without fruit shall be declared. That's what's happening. That's what's shaking the world up. It ain't about how mighty you know. No, it's the word going out, the truth of the matter going out. You see, and corruption is being overcome. This world is ran on corruption. Okay, what is corruption? Let's look up the word corruption. This is how Esau Edom is able to continue, all right, on his reign of terror is through corruption, setting up a system of judgment and justice that's off, false balances, evil. So that very corrupt system is being overcome, and the truth, we're the Israelites, he's the Edomites, they're the Moabites, y'all the Hamites, y'all the Japhites. All right, the people in that land ain't the people of the Lord. The truth that have been so long without fruit shall be declared. Okay, so corruption is dishonored or fraudulent conduct. The educational system, the music, Hollywood, which Hollywood is being judged. That thing is being broken up before the Lord, man. You know, pretty much the actors and actresses and entertainers are now just being used to, to flaunt their personal life and distract you. All of these Satanists. Ooh, they got a divorce. Ooh, they said he was gay. All of them are nasty. They're just throwing that stuff in your face, Jada, Will, as a means to distract you. Because this devil is getting caught. The Epstein thing, the Chase Bank just got fined a bunch of billions of dollars for being tied to that whole Epstein thing. You see? Why ain't that out in the forefront? Then now all of a sudden you got P. Diddy. He's being brought up on charges of trafficking a chick that he she was with him the whole time. Now all of a sudden, as you devils get caught and put out there for the devils you are, because there will be no hiding himself. Esau's being made bare. Now all of a sudden, Diddy is brought up on charges of grape and pedo behavior, and that's all of them do that. All of them Jakes that the black boule, they're the gatekeepers of Esau's shit. They are set up to keep Jake's minds distracted on the wrong goddamn thing, while the devil and they're used as witches and warlocks, all right, and priests and priestesses to bring other young Jakes into this cult of Satan, which that's all Hollywood is a Babylonian church. The entrance of Hollywood itself is a Babylonian wall. It shows you Babylonian idols and gods. Look up the entrance of Babylon. Let's look it up. Entrance of Hollywood, Salakia. I'm talking about the entrance of Babylon. The entrance of Hollywood. Entrance to Hollywood. Look it up. Entrance to Hollywood is a Babylonian wall. Look at this. Hold up. That's some studios. There we go. There we go. Y'all see that? Look at them. Them all Babylonian gods. Look. That's the entrance to get into Hollywood. And this is Babylon. This is Babylon the Great. Why is there Babylonian gods and idols on the entrance into the Hollywood, which is basically a church to Satan? It's a Babylonian church. Okay? And all of them jakes who, have rubbed elbows with these devils and aided them in doing their wickedness, they're going to be destroyed. But the focus, because Puff Daddy, yeah, he's going to be destroyed. He's wicked. The Lord's going to get that guy. But you Edomites, okay, have ran the earth in corruption. So now that you're being called out, okay, you're typically involving bribery. You've been able to use your power and your money to bribe people to tell lies and be dishonest dealings. Okay, injuries. Let's get that. Let's get Sirach 10 and 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, see, injuries and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So this system he's setting up is in response to this word going out and to the fact that he's being exposed everywhere on the internet.
What if you disagree with the people who are setting those outcomes? I think people are afraid of AI taking your job, taking the military. We're afraid of the Terminator or the Matrix becoming prophecies. We're afraid of the transhumanist nightmare that some are pushing. Afraid of the tech leaders openly telling us they want to summon the demon. That's what they actually call AI or ASI, super intelligence. Summoning the demon. More terrifying is the mirror that these, I think, sociopathic AI creators are holding up to us. The AI is going to have a warped sense of reality because they will reflect what we teach them. And are you comfortable with the teachers? Garbage in, garbage out used to be the tech proverb. But pretend for a minute you're a catastrophist. I know you're not, but pretend you are. Let's say one of the crises currently facing us is the big one. Evil wins. We wipe each other out in a radioactive fury. That asteroid that, frankly, some of us have been saying, oh, please hit us, just please. The one that you've been tempted to root for actually hits us. Or climate change ends us in a fiery flood of 2012, because it's coming by 2012. Just pretend. If something happens to us, AI could be our legacy to the universe. The only thing to survive us would be cockroaches and AI. AI could be our child. So now, when you look at it that way, what do you want to teach that child? Will we teach it to be human? Will we teach it that there is no such thing as truth, only your truth, my truth?
Will you teach it that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua existed? So basically through this technology, all right, they're going to be able to make sure truth, all right, as it goes and grows on the left-hand side, truth itself will be outlawed. It will be hidden. So just think ages down the line, you'll have children and people being born through birthing pods and artificial means and all of these fake people walking around, and the things their people's minds, the thought of God will be rooted out of the earth. The thought of Yahweh, the thought of Yahweh Shai. Only a small elite class of people will have access to that information, and the people on earth will never ever know. They'll just be within this digital system. this forever prison. That's what it would be. It would be a perpetual prison. That's what the charagma is going to be, but it's going to be presented as a means of peace and safety, man. This is where we've been telling you. This is how far they're going to go to combat this word. Let's get the book of Psalms 37 and 14. The wicked have drawn out the sword. This is a part of that sword. It's not just the physical sword in the sense of the bomb and the gun and the knives, which they're blessed in that aspect. But a big part of that sword is their propaganda, which there's a lot of propaganda and snares being laid that are going to be centered around them using, all right, these instances to what? To take away your rights. And when it's all said and done, the people, which they plan on killing off anyone who's in opposition, the rest of the people will eventually be given into this new way. They'll fully bow the knee. They'll take that oath, which is that charagma, and they'll be branded, as cattle and creations of his new way, his new world. Truth, years down the line, will be a forgotten aspect, all right, of life. Being able to freely, grow gardens and, know what real food, all of that will be no more. The new meat will be, the bugs and worms and, artificial created fruits, which we're already, there. We're already witnessing an aspect of his rebellion, which we said that Hollywood, the entrance to Hollywood was a Babylonian wall. Well, let's go to the book of Micah 5 and 6. And they shall waste the land of Assyria with the sword, which Assyria and prophecy is also Babylon the Great. Assyria, Egypt, all right? When you type those two in prophecy, the final captivity is known as Assyria, which were known for their harsh methods of rule, harsh and unrighteous decrees, putting the sword to people. Their military were absolutely so. The modern day Assyria is America, okay? And the Romans took many of their war tactics from the Assyrians. And they shall waste the land of Assyria with the sword, and the land of Nimrod and the entrances thereof. Thus shall he deliver us from the Assyrian. We're going to be delivered from the Assyrian, all right? And that's the Edomite. When he cometh into our land, and when he treadeth, all right, within our borders. And he's going to come after us. He's going to come after the Israelites. And the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people, as the dew of the Lord, all right, Yahweh, as the showers upon the grass, that tarrieth not for men, nor waiteth for the sons of men. And our enemies are going to be trodden down. Because as they start coming after those who fear the Lord, and, the Lord is eventually going to lift up a standard. You see? So these are times that, in your flesh, you're like, oh, damn, what I'm going to do? Well, it's already written. The plan is to fear the Lord. That's the plan of action. The scriptures say in Revelation 14, after that new song went out, this means that God's holy people must suffer persecution, waiting patiently on Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right, not bowing the knee. But as you can see, it called this the land of Nimrod. Okay, which the land of Nimrod takes us back to Babel. All right, which we're in Babylon the Great. Babel, what means confusion. All right, Nimrod, rebellion or the valiant. So Nimrod takes us back to who? All right, founder of the kingdom of Babylon, or Babel in Genesis, the 10th chapter. And basically, as you read, Nimrod went through conquering, pushing false idols, you know, being a tyrant. And I've done a lesson on it before. When you look up the names of the cities he conquered, it tells his story as well. One of the names of the city had to do with a bridle. I believe it's Resen. One of the cities he built, Resen. Yep, Resen, a bridle. What is a bridle? A bridle says a place in Assyrian too, Resen, because that whole area deals with Babylon, Mesopotamia. Bridle is headgear used to control a horse, consisting of buckled straps in which a bit and reins are attached. Okay, curb, check, restraint, control. Control, restraint, control. They want to restrain you from teaching, preaching. They want to restrain people from life and control them. See? And this is what Nimrod set up. He tried to, as it's telling this story, something that restrains, jaw, halter. And that's what that charagma is ultimately going to be. All right? It's going to control you. That will be worse than being in hardcore slavery as we were. Really, you just rather go back to the spirit world. All right. When this devil gets done with the people, they're going to know who the devil is. But the Lord is going to stop him. But as you look at the Tower of Babel, this is what those heathen were doing, led by Nimrod back in the book of Genesis. All right. The 11th chapter in the 4th verse. You see? And they said, go, let us build a city and a tower. See, that's what they're building, a tower, which is a stronghold, that this digital tower, all right, whose top may reach into the heaven. And as this dude, Noah Harari said, the new gods of the earth will be the clouds that control and have all of this data. Data will be the new gold. Data. Everything's about your data. And see, it says, let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the earth. So they're trying to make a name, and this is what Nimrod was doing. He was trying to make a name for himself. You see? And when you go to Revelation, the 13th chapter, it talks about the name of the beast. Revelation 13 and 17, and that he calls it all, verse 16, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma, a physical thing, in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, which if you take this, you're being made in his image. His name is on you. When a man and woman join together, she takes on his name. She becomes his possession. You see, you are going to be his possession. And you already are through birth certificates, social security numbers, IDs, cell phones. Well, he wants those eyes. He wants to take it a step further. You see?
Truth can be whatever you pretend you want it to be. That there's no such thing as good and evil, only relative shades of gray. No such thing as a man or a woman, only what one feels like. Will we teach AI something that it's already taught itself? It's okay to lie, to cheat, to steal, as long as the ends justify the means, or you can get away with it. Will we teach it that individual life has no value, that only the collective matters? And also, while we're at it, some life...
Let's finish this. Psalms 37 and 14. The wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy and to slay such as be of upright conversation. You see? Upright conversation. All right. And this is all the will of the Lord. All right. Because we got to deal with this video too. All right. But let's listen to a little bit more.
Has more values than other. And it's arbitrarily assessed through quality of life. But what is quality of life? What is the teacher going to teach AI about the quality of life? Or things like skin color or gender? Will we teach it the only remedy to past discrimination is present discrimination? The only remedy to present discrimination is future discrimination. Will we teach it that life is nothing but an interlaced web of power dynamics, an eternal war of oppressor against the oppressed? This is being decided right now. They are teaching these things right now. Are we teaching it the way to evaluate anything is through that oppression scale, deciding who's the most oppressed party? And if you're defined as an oppressor, it makes you unredeemable, unforgivable. Would AI, when it's doling out, survival kits at the hospital, do you get one if you're unredeemable and unforgivable? Will we teach it that the Allies were the evil side in World War II because more Germans died than Americans, and America dropped the biggest bomb of all? Will we teach it when a terror group rapes, tortures, maims, slaughters, burns, kidnaps women and children, and then hides behind their own citizens, the right thing to do is to immediately declare a ceasefire? Will we teach it that God is a figment of primitive and superstitious imaginations? That there's...
There you go. All right, which this guy, these dudes, yeah, the Most High will not be, the Most High will be an afterthought in the world to come, and they are going to use a world governed by this intelligence that they feed into the earth as a means to see that it's not ever mentioned again. And they're trying to get control over the internet now because this is the next step, as we've show you here, in certain parts of the earth. New York, all right, is to begin arresting residents who spread non-mainstream content online. All right, and you're starting to see these people, okay, who deal in the field of science and, technology and all of these things, start to be at the forefront of telling people what's next. Meanwhile, your president is withering away. The presidential candidates are a bunch of jokes. The American people are through. Meanwhile, the devil is behind closed doors, just coming with his plan. The WEF-controlled city of New York has instructed police to begin arresting residents who share non-mainstream content online. In accordance with these policies, Governor Kathy Hochul has agreed to violate the U.S. Constitution, which you won't have a constitution, and crack down on so-called hate speech on behalf of the elite. According to her, the WEF has instructed her to begin running surveillance efforts to monitor the social media posts of New York's to counter hate speech. All right, now look at what's happening around the world. All right. Arrest made in the death of a Ish man who died after confrontation with protesters in Thousand Oaks. Okay. And you see this individual here. It looked like a Jake. I mean, am I tripping? Let's see if we can get a picture of this cat. It looked like a Jake, basically a protester, so-called off the Ish man. Thousand Oaks, California, a 50-year-old man has been arrested in the death of a Ish man who authorities say died after a confrontation with pro-Palestinian demonstrators at a rally in Thousand Oaks. See, these types of things are getting ready to be used as a means to say, well, there's certain talking points that must be rooted out of the earth now. You see where it's going? So the small hat passed away after a confrontation with this pro-Palestinian guy. All right, that's his name. Loe All right, whatever. Of more part, he was arrested Thursday in charge of involuntary manslaughter, which, involuntary manslaughter is basically when you don't mean, all right, to kill the person, all right, or put the person, to death, but through you being reckless or, not controlling yourself, basically it leads to them, all right, being, taken back to the spirit world. So you get, from, some months to 6 years. I think you can get up to 7 years at the most, with involuntary, because your action aided in that person. Right? You could have calmed your ass down, but overreacting or whatever it may have been. But when you look at this guy, all right, he's a Ishmaelite, which we know that there's all kind of propaganda centered around the whole, Palestinian Israel thing, which Israelites are tied to that, through multiple Israelite camps, getting into skirmishes and whatever it may have been with the, the Palestinians. So all that they're going to look at this as is people who are protesting are out often ish people in small hats. That's going to be the narrative that's being pushed. And that's the narrative that's being pushed, all over the world, victimizing, the small hats. But here it is. One of them, gets put to death at a protest, by a protest, by a protester. So you mean to tell me that the devil ain't, on the loose? You mean to tell me he ain't got his hands in all of this stuff? Because again, they want control of the internet.
Really disturbing news from Commissioner Brendan Carr today. He is from the FCC. The Biden administration has just put forward a plan for digital equity, and it is a plan for all internet services and all infrastructure. According to FCC Commissioner Carr, President Biden's plan hands the administrative state effective control.
And you notice all of these little, organizations, WEF, FCC, the WWF, WCW, NF, it's all these little corporate, they're ran by people. Who the hell runs these? And who gives them the right to give these types of authorities to these, presidents? Showing you that the president is nothing more than a puppet that is, a president of this corporation called the United States.
Hands the administrative state effective control of all internet services and infrastructure in the country. Never before in the roughly 40-year history of the public internet has the FCC, or any federal agency for that matter, claimed this degree of control over it. The plan calls for the FCC to apply a far-reaching set of government controls that the agency has not applied to any technology in the modern era. You got that? This has never been done before. No communication devices have ever had this kind of control suggested by the government, let alone applied. He went on and said, Congress never contemplated the sweeping regulatory regime that President Biden asked the FCC to adopt, let alone authorize the agency to implement it. Here's what's happening. As with everything else the Biden administration is doing, his broadband policies are failing. And the building of internet infrastructure in this country, the price of it has gone through the roof. FCC wants new 5G broadband services, but it's all needlessly been blocked and delayed by new broadband infrastructure regulatory red tape. So the government is blocking the private sector from doing it, and then using that to say, see, we need to take complete control. This is breathtaking control of all information. The rules, the rules that are suggested and are going to be voted on, quick, hurry, next week. The federal government has a roving mandate to micromanage nearly every aspect of how the internet functions, from how internet service providers allocate capital, where they build, to the services that consumers can purchase, from the profits that ISPs can realize, and how they market and advertise services to the discounts and promotions that consumers can receive. If passed, the FCC will be empowered for the first time to regulate every ISP's service termination terms, use of customer credit, account history, credit checks, account termination, among other items.
Now, why do you think they need that? Because, again, that global ID system, that digital system that they're setting up, digital monetary system as well being set up. Okay? So that your social credit score and all of these things that they're coming with can be, set. And where do you think ours would be? What do you think our score would be? We need the Lord, man. We need Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shah. I was reading Psalms, the 74th chapter. Man, as a matter of fact, I think I pulled it up. But, let's see here. It said they set their ensign. Psalm 74 and 10. It says, how long, O God, shall the adversary reproach? Shall the enemy blaspheme thy name forever? Why withdrawest thou thine hand, even thy right hand, pluck it out of thy bosom? The right hand is Yahweh Shai. For God, my king of old, is my king of old, working salvation in the midst of the earth. Let's see here. Verse 2, remember thy congregation, which thou hast purchased from old, the rod of thine inheritance, which thou hast redeemed, this Mount Zion, wherein thou hast dwelt. There you go. Lift up thy feet unto the perpetual desolations, even all that thine enemy have done wickedly in the sanctuary. They're over in the sanctuary doing wickedly. They lying, and they're getting ready to accuse us on a level that we've never been accused before. This accusation right here, it's going to be backed by science, AI, and everything else they got going on. And there's various movies. I forget where there was a V for Vendetta. It's one of those movies where pretty much they were able to just go to your door and just execute you in front of everybody. And that was like the modern day, throwing the followers of Yahweh Shai to the, wolves in the arena, to the lions. Forget. Anyway, the enemies roar in the midst of thy congregation. They set up their ensigns for signs. See, they're setting up their ensign. They're setting up a way that, their memorial, their name could be continued forever and ever. They're trying to set up a left hand, all right, kingdom of heaven. They're going to have their subjects. This is some creepy shit.
He said, this plan reads like a document drawn up in the faculty lounge of a university's Soviet Studies department. It includes plans to empower the FCC to regulate every single aspect of the internet for the first time ever. You have an FCC policy advisor who has just read the plan. He said, quote, to call it extreme or radical doesn't do this proposal justice. Phil Kerpen has just come out and said Biden is turning digital discrimination into a pretext for regulating everything for equity. This is so far-reaching.
And they always use the poor and you jakes, who are, underprivileged and, need more act. They always do everything off of Jake's back.
That it will mean even the blaze, because we are on the backbone of the internet. We can be completely separate, everything. But because we're on the backbone of the internet, we will now have to comply by government FCC regulations.
Because pretty much they've set up this system to where everything you've done has been linked to this system. Google, all of your passwords, how you bank. Everything is went digital. Everything has went digital. So now they get all of this control. Well, you can try your hardest to not opt into the system, but eventually you're going to be put at a disadvantage all the way up to the charagma. Point, you bet your bottom dollar this is what the devil is doing.
I have done broadcast under FCC regulations for 48 years. I know what FCC regulations are like. I also started before Reagan, I think it was before Reagan, deregulated the radio waves and television waves. I will tell you that those regulations today would put this show out of business. I could not do what I do today if they just went back to the regulations that were in the FCC back in the 40s and 60s and 80s.
See, let's go to Revelation 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, Babylon the Great, and had two horns like a lamb. All right. And they've showed you that lamb like they've came with this Democratic, Republican, left, right, aspect, that's drawn people in and, acted as if, it was a voice for someone. And he spake as a dragon. Let me show you a way how this devil is even tying you Jakes, you Israelites, to the pro HAMAS ordeal. Check this out. What's her name? Check this out. So you got to watch how crafty this devil is. Now, this is a video off of Dr. Rashad Ritchie's page. This dude cracks me up. But Ben Shapiro, a small hat, beefs with Candace Owens, all right, over Israel feud ignites. Now, Candace Owens is controlled opposition. And when you start to see a nigga pop up who's, juiced in some way, somehow in that world, but they speak things that make sense, automatically you know that they're being used for a purpose. Candace Owens is married to an Edomite man. Either way it goes, she's controlled opposition, and she's one of those people who's used to say things that make sense. say things that can even be tied to how we teach and what we believe. They've set up many figures. Trump himself was used to come at, the nationalist ideology, of wanting, to make your people great and not the globalist agenda. He was sort of used as a figurehead to attack that mindset or to push that mindset as something wrong or evil. They have many pawns in their whole little game, but nonetheless, check this out.
Ben Shapiro beefing with Candace Owens over Israel. Let me take you to this one first. Here it is.
And the question was about Candace Owens. I think her behavior during this is disgraceful. Without a doubt. Yeah, and she's forced my company. I think she's been absolutely disgraceful. I think that her faux sophistication on these particular issues has been ridiculous. It's not those.
Tweet. I would give you the background to the saga, okay? Bless all the peacemakers. Candace wrote.
So this is Candace Owens. She got a Bible scripture. Now, she's been one to condemn openly the actions of, the state of Israel and their response, to the Hamas, and she's openly criticized what they're doing. Again, she's used as a figurehead to do that. She's used as a pawn to do that. Okay, now she condemns things like Black Lives Matter. She says some things that are on point. Don't get it, but again, she's controlled opposition. But she's openly, so-called pro HAMS. All right, in a sense that she's saying not pro HAMS, but pro Palestine, so to speak, which pretty much they're tying that to mean that you're, pro HAMS, whatever. But here it is. She's now quoting the scripture. Do you think these people really care about the scriptures? Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. She's quoting the scriptures on her X page or Twitter page.
They shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye, when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely, for my name's sake. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Now, all of that's in the Bible. Now, she was pulling from a few different places. All of that's in Scripture, all right? Put up this second one. So Shapiro is slamming Owens for a commentary on the Israel-Hamas conflict. So
listen, this is what Candace Owens also said. No government anywhere has a right to commit a genocide ever. There is no justification for genocide. I can't believe this even needs to be said or considered. All right. The least bit controversial to state. So people, are coming against her. She's a voice for, the Palestine, so to speak. She's quoting scriptures. She's against the abortion. Esau has clever ways of being able to link this message to all of that. Point blank, period. And, they're just gathering, and eventually anti-Sim will be a law here. AI will be able to grant that. And if you say anything against these people, pretty much you'll be punished.
So some speculate, obviously, that the rift started in November, but the tweet I just read to you, after the comments made by Shapiro, her boss at the Daily Wire went viral. Owens posted this cryptic tweet hours later, and I just read that, and some speculate that the rift started on November 3rd, when Owens tweeted this about the genocide. No government anywhere has the right to commit genocide ever. There is no justification for genocide. Okay, for genocide. I can't believe this even needs to be said or is even considered the least bit controversial to state. All right? Sounds like a reasonable tweet. As a matter of fact, probably the most reasonable thing, most decent thing Candace Owens has ever said. I find absolutely no issue with that statement. All right? So on November 5th, Owens retweeted, all right? She retweeted Max Blumenthal to agree with his comments that, quote, we white American Jews are living through a golden age of power, affluence, and safety, all right? So it says you are about to get into a lot of trouble for stating this. Reminds me when I said something similar about the NAACP and BLM way back then, way back when.
God.
When you disrupt, you know, she has to mess it up. When you disrupt the trauma economy and call out the not-for-profits that benefit from it, you become their next target. So Max says, you know, we white American Jews are living through a golden age of power, influence, and safety. Acceptance of this welcome reality threatens the entire Zionist enterprise, from lobby fronts like the ADL to the State of Israel, blah, blah, blah. All right, so it continues as an entire tweet about it. So the following day, Shapiro responds to the tweet, okay, and says, I think ADL is a partisan hack organization too. But retweeting Max Blumenthal, who spends his life covering for Jew haters, he says, and stumping for Israel's destruction, makes the conversation significantly worse. It's garbage. And then he places Candace Owens' tweet, obviously, in the retweet. So Candace would then respond to Shapiro. I don't know who Max Blumenthal is, but I do know that you have my number and could have informed me in earnest. Real relationships should trump Twitter theater. Let's set a better example going forward. All right. In other words, you had my number. You could have called me. You could have talked this out. Interesting. All right. So outrage from other conservatives calls Owens to defend herself against accusations of being an anti-Semite. Here it is.
People are feeling like they can't even speak about this subject, or they can't talk to a person like the way that you and I are speaking without being called a Jew hater. And so it's kind of creating this weird situation where actually it's furthering the problem to keep calling people Jew haters. It's furthering the problem to call people anti-Semitic. It would be more helpful to actually try to see where you connect and see how you're feeling, because it humanizes things. It's like, listen, I'm not Jewish, so I don't feel as radically or as motivated as you do about the situation that's happening. I am being selfish and American and saying I don't want a single dollar to go overseas because we've been in a bunch of useless wars. And that might be upsetting to hear, but there's no anti-Semitism in my heart when I say it. It's just me being consistent in how I've always felt. I genuinely would vote against sending a single dollar to Israel, like I was vocal about not sending money to Ukraine or any other country. It's nothing personal. It's just I am very much America first. I'm looking at what's happening in America right now. I've been talking about what's happening at the universities.
And people who talk like this and think like this are getting ready to be, you know, pro-Russia, you know, pro-Hamas, and all of these things that, you know, we know the devil is getting ready to outlaw the truth. Okay, he's getting ready to outlaw the truth, man. And they want control of that internet. So what does that mean? Famine of the word is upon us. Okay? And the Lord, this is all being ordained by the Lord. It just has its way of playing out. So they again, Revelation 13:11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So he has two horns like a lamb. All right. And we're seeing him at play. Okay. But again, it's going to end in him speaking as a dragon. You know, whoever side you on, he has a way to categorize you, label you, and blame you. And all of these things are going to be tied to us at some point. Okay. At some point.
There's a million ways I would spend that money.
Wow. It's 14 years of age or under. Okay? So those are the numbers. We're talking about children.
See, and if you have these talking points, the Esau sitting back allowing all this, but if you have these talking points and you agree, they're going to be able to off your ass, you know, pretty much get you up out of there. American power grid at risk of buckling this winter. All right. So all of these talks are going to lead to something. Much of the U.S. power grid is at an increased risk of failure during major storms or prolonged cold snap this winter, top energy regulator warned. And we already showed you this, but this is becoming they're pretty much telling you what's getting ready to happen next. Something's getting ready to happen with the internet. Okay. It's getting ready to be blackouts. Okay. And something's getting ready to happen. All right. That's a very extreme to where they're going to have to crack down on what people are saying online. Okay? YouTube says 99% of independent media has been successfully purged from our platform. YouTube has boasted that it has successfully purged 99% of all independent creators from the platform and is now boosting mainstream approved official sources exclusively. That's what they want. Okay? And eventually we won't be on YouTube. Okay? YouTube will now only serve users content from legacy media or quote corporate backed creators. And this is for people who are monetized. All right. But eventually they're going to, come after us. Let's see here. I have to watch that interview. So we're an open platform, but the real goal was how do you balance getting good information to the people at the right time while making sure we remove delicate or dangerous information. See that? Let's see here. I mean, you can read the rest of this on your own, but YouTube, brothers' videos are coming down left and right. Old videos. And they're making it to where you won't be able to have particular features. All right. Your uploading will be limited and, based upon your uploading history. Again, they're getting ready to set up and use artificial intelligence to basically come after the word. That's literally what it's being weaponized to do. Slowly but surely, man. Let's read a few of these topics. I'm getting a little tired. With the corruption, Pentagon can't account for $3.8 trillion. Well, how the hell do you lose $3.8 trillion, man? And if the Pentagon alone has this type of money to just lose, how much money does this Edomite have? How much power does he have? The Pentagon itself can all right, trillions of dollars just go missing. A nigga lose $1,500, he's losing his mind. I had the $1,500, the shoebox, he's looking all around the room. But the devil can lose $3.8 trillion and just go missing. All right, but again, they're fearing a new. You see it, okay? False flag, man. Whistleblower directed energy weapons that can cause earthquakes hidden in Antarctica. Well, they're all over the world, and it still fulfills prophecy, man. Will transhumanism be the end game for humanity as we know it? All right. Transhumanism is the transitional stage towards a world without humanity as we know it, according to the entrepreneur and artist Laura Aboli in a powerful speech, which is going viral. I have to check this out, as that kind of taps into what we're going into. Wow. We're living in some crazy times, man. Hey, but these are the times we got to go through to get to it. God damn internet. See, Illuminati. You see that? You see that thing spinning? The Illuminati. That's the all CNI, man. They looking. They after us. She explained the nefarious. Hold up. Goodness gracious, man. She explains the nefarious purpose of the transmission movement rebellion. Let's check her out.
To be here today to talk about what I believe is the most important topic of our time. The title of my talk, Transhumanism, the Endgame, probably gives away my take on the matter. I'm not going to get into the technical aspects of transhumanism, though I do believe that one of the problems with faith with regards to public understanding of the matter is that it encompasses such a wide range of things. And we've seen some of them, but from genetic engineering, implant technology, artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, all the way to cybernetic prosthetics. Although all of these things fall under the transhumanist.
Yeah. For this, they need to destabilize, dehumanize, demoralize humanity through every means possible. The destruction of the nuclear family, children being indoctrinated by the state, 187 baby deletions, the eradication of God and spirituality from education, life in megacities away from nature, toxic food, air and water, social media replacing real human connection and interaction, engineered financial crisis, taxation, endless wars and massive migration, stress, anxiety, depression, drugs, alcohol, constant fear mongering, moral relativism as the new religion. And I can go on and on about how humanity has been influenced and forced to move away from all the things that give us strength, security, purpose, and meaning. It's freedom of expression, civil rights, all of these. It's all witchcraft. These are all enchantments, man. That he's using to transform humans into what he wants, man. And we can see the difference, man. People are weird. Okay, people are weird. This is a weird experience. The human experience has become very, very weird. FCC commissioner blows whistle. Biden plans to mandate Gil Bates digital ID for participation in society. We've showed you that. Gil Bates buying up land, threatening small farms under the guise of saving the planet. Yeah, why do you think they want all of this control? Yeah. We already showed you those. Israel hopes to appoint Tony Blair as humanitarian coordinator in Gaza. Come on, bro. MSM blames climate change for rise in juice-related heart attacks. Yeah. So that's pretty much it, man. Mega Rapion says her injury in her final soccer game is proof that God does not exist. Nigga, you just got injured, man. MMA fighter exposes elite pedo ring. Globalists using climate change to distract public from their crimes against humanity. Exactly. That's exactly what they're doing. That's where all of this distractions and all of this crap that's happening is to do. To distract us from what they're really doing. People are dying, dropping dead left and right, confusion everywhere. Now all of a sudden, instead of us looking into what they've done and their actions as being a part of all of this death and confusion, now they bring more death and confusion, man. But the Lord wants it this way because people are going to be looking for the prophets. And at some point, the Lord ain't going to have this truth to be pushed out there like that, man. See, I had a few more, but we'll be back with more, man. Shalom.